The air conditioner hums a sterile, indifferent tune. My fingers freeze over the keyboard, mid-sentence, mid-email draft about Q3 projections. The Slack notification pops up in the lower right corner of the screen I stare at every day, the screen I bought with our money, the one sitting on the desk in the office we built. It's a message from him. From Mark. My husband. It reads, "Come to my office.
Now."
No endearment. No, please, just the blunt command I used to hear only when things were going terribly wrong, or terribly right, usually in private. But this is public. The little red, dot by his name, glows active, demanding. My breath catches in my throat. A cold wave washes over me, the kind that doesn't come from the AC. It starts in my stomach, spreads to my chest, prickles across my scalp. My heart rate picks up a frantic, uneven rhythm.
Dread. Pure un'adulterante dread.
I stand up slowly. My chair scrapes back on the polished concrete floor, the sound unnaturally loud in the quiet office. Everyone else is focused, heads down, fingers flying. They don't look up. They don't see the tremor in my hands as I push myself away from the desk. They don't see the way the color has drained from my face, leaving it a tight, pale mask. My legs feel heavy, like lead, but also disconnected, like they might not hold me. Walking across the open-plan office feels like an eternity. Every step is weighted. The familiar faces of our employees blur. Sarah from marketing smiles automatically as I pass, her eyes not meeting mine. Does she know? Do they all know? The thought hits me like a physical blow, stealing the air from my lungs. What could be so urgent, so bad, that he summons me like this, like a subordinate, not his partner, not his wife? His office is at the end of the hall, enclosed in glass walls that offer a panoramic view of the city skyline. Our view. The one we dreamed of when we were crammed into that tiny co-working space, fueled by cheap coffee and impossible ambition. Now, the view is just a backdrop, irrelevant. The glass walls feel less like a symbol of transparency and more like a fishbowl, designed for display. The door is slightly ajar. I push it open. He's sitting behind the massive, dark wood desk we picked out together, a desk that speaks of power and permanence. He looks different. His face is set unreadable. His eyes, usually warm when they look at me, are cold, distant. And there's someone else, sitting in one of the guest chairs, looking perfectly composed, perfectly.
Wrong.
Her name is Clara. She's the new consultant, hired just last month. Blonde, impeccably dressed, a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. A smile I'd already noticed was directed at Mark a little too often, lingering a little too long. The dread solidifies into something sharper, more painful. It's not just bad news. It's betrayal. The air in the room is thick, suffocating. I can't breathe. I can't speak. I just stand there, frozen in the doorway, the hum of the AC in the distance, the silent city stretching out behind him, and the cold, expectant look on their faces. This is it. The precipice. My world is about to shatter, and I'm standing right in the blast zone. If this feeling resonates, that moment when the ground falls out from under you, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. It helps me more than you know to share these stories. We built this company from nothing. I remember the late nights, the pizza boxes stacked high, the arguments fueled by exhaustion and passion, the exhilarating rush of landing that first big client. Mark was the visionary, the charismatic face. I was the architect, the one who built the systems, managed the teams, turned his grand ideas into tangible reality. We were a unit, an unstoppable force. Our wedding photos were displayed proudly in the lobby. Our love story was part of the company mythology. People looked up to us, envied us. We were the power couple who built an empire on love and relentless hard work. My office wasn't fancy, not like Mark's. It was functional, situated closer to the teams I managed, a hub of activity. We had different roles, different strengths, but the goal was always the same. Make this thing work, make it grow, build something that would last. It wasn't just a business. It was our future, our legacy. We talked about our retirement on a beach somewhere, funded by the success of our company. We talked about sending our future kids to the best schools, buying a house with a big garden. All of it, built on the foundation we poured together, brick by painstaking brick. I trusted him implicitly. He was my husband, my partner in life and in business. There was no line drawn between the two. Our personal and professional lives were intertwined, a double helix of shared purpose and affection. Or so I thought. Clara had arrived like a breath of fresh air, or maybe a perfectly chilled, slightly poisonous breeze. She was introduced as a strategic consultant, brought in to optimize operations. I was initially wary. We knew our business. We built it. But Mark was insistent. Fresh eyes, he said. Someone from the outside can see what we're missing. He seemed particularly enthusiastic about her. He talked about her innovative ideas, her impressive resume, her dynamic personality. I saw the dynamic personality in action. The way she leaned in when she talked to him, the easy laughter, the hand on his arm that seemed just a little too familiar. I pushed the thoughts away. Paranoia, I told myself. I was busy, stressed. It meant nothing. Now, standing in his office, facing them both, it means everything. Mark clears his throat. The sound is loud in the silence. He doesn't look at me directly. His gaze is fixed on his hands, folded on the desk. Have a seat, he says, his voice flat, devoid of the warmth I've known for a decade. I don't sit. My legs won't let me. They're rooted to the spot, resisting the command. What is this, Mark? My voice is weaker than I intended. It trembles. He finally looks up. His eyes are hard. We need to talk about your role. My role? I echo, bewildered. I founded this company. My role is the company. I am Chief Operating Officer. I run everything behind the scenes.
Yes.
Things are changing. The market is moving fast. We need to be agile, forward-thinking. He sounds like he's reading from a corporate mission statement, a generic, soulless script. Clara nods beside him, her expression sympathetic, but it feels manufactured, a performance. It makes my skin crawl. Agile? Forward-thinking? Mark, we've been innovating since day one. What are you talking about? He shifts uncomfortably. It's about leadership. Structure. We've decided to go in a different direction. My eyes flick to Clara. She offers that same unsettling smile. Yes, Mark confirms, his voice gaining a chilling edge of finality. Clara will be taking over as COO. The words hit me like a physical blow. Air rushes from my lungs. My vision blurs around the edges.
Clara as COO?
Taking over my job? The job I built. The job that is intrinsically tied to my identity, to our history. What? It's a choked gasp. Effective immediately, Mark continues, rushing the words now, as if getting them out quickly will lessen the impact. It doesn't. Your access has been revoked. Security will escort you to collect your personal belongings.
Security.
Escort. Personal belongings. The corporate jargon is like acid, burning away the last vestiges of our shared past. I am not his wife. I am not his partner. I am an employee. A problem to be removed. You're firing me? I ask, the question hanging in the air, absurd, impossible. From our company? The one we started. He finally meets my eyes, and there's a flicker of something there, something that might be regret, or maybe just discomfort. It's a business decision, he says. It's what's best for the company. Clara adds, her voice smooth, practiced. We believe my expertise is better suited to navigate the current landscape. Your expertise? My voice finds some strength, fueled by pure, white-hot rage. I built the landscape. I laid the foundation, wired the systems, hired the people. Mark stands up, putting distance between us, putting the desk between us. This isn't easy, he says, but his posture, his tone, contradict him. He looks relieved, like a weight has been lifted. The weight of me, I realize. Not easy. I laugh, a harsh, broken sound. You're firing your wife, your partner of 10 years, from the company we built together, and hiring your mistress. The words are out before I can stop them. raw and accusatory. Clara flinches slightly, the composed mask slipping for a fraction of a second. Mark's face pales. Don't, he warns, his voice low, dangerous. Don't what? Don't say the truth. My voice rises. You coward. You couldn't even look me in the eye when you told me. You brought her here, sitting right there, like this is some kind of performance. He rounds the desk. Security, he calls out, his voice sharp. Two large men in company uniforms appear almost instantly in the doorway. They look uncomfortable, their eyes fixed on some point over my shoulder. I'll collect my things myself, I say, my voice regaining a chilling calm that surprises even me. The rage is still there, a roaring fire, but it's banked now, focused. I won't give them a scene. Not here, not in front of everyone. I turn and walk out past the security guards, down the long hall, back through the open-plan office.
Heads turn this time.
Eyes follow me. The whispers start before I'm even halfway to my desk. I ignore them. I walk with my back straight, my head held high, even as the world crumbles around me. At my desk, I grab my purse, my laptop, a small framed photo of Mark and me from happier times. I look at it for a moment, then toss it into the wastebin. The glass shatters faintly. I pull the key to my office parking spot from my keyring and drop it onto the desk. I don't take the box HR usually provides. I don't need their pity. My entire life, my career, my marriage, reduced to a few personal items I can carry in a bag. Security follows me every step of the way, into the elevator, through the lobby, to the glass front doors. As I push through them, stepping out into the bright afternoon sun, I don't look back. The building looms behind me, a monument to a dream that just died a brutal, public death.
I get in my car and drive.
I don't know where I'm going. Just away. Away from the betrayal, the humiliation, the shattered pieces of my life scattered across the polished concrete floor of our office. The next few weeks are a blur of pain, confusion, and disbelief. I stay with a friend. Our apartment, the one Mark and I shared, feels like a museum of our failed life, every object a painful reminder. I can't go back there. Not yet. My phone rings constantly. Friends, family, concerned colleagues who risked reaching out. I answer some, offer vague explanations. My parents are devastated. My mother cries. My father, a man of few words but immense presence, listens quietly, his silence more potent than any shouting. The hardest part is the quiet. After years of constant work, constant interaction, the silence of my temporary life is deafening. I try to apply for jobs. My resume is impressive, but the story is messy. Being fired by your husband, the CEO of the company you co-founded? It screams drama, risk. Recruiters are polite, but distant. The industry is small. Everyone knows. Or everyone thinks they know. The rumors spread like wildfire, fueled by the public spectacle of my departure. I hear whispers that I was incompetent, that the company was floundering under my leadership, that Mark had to make a tough but necessary decision. Clara's narrative, no doubt. Poisoning the well. I see them. Or rather, I see pictures. Social media updates from former colleagues show Clara at company events, front and center next to Mark, radiating an air of effortless command. She's implementing her innovative ideas. I see posts about streamlining, optimizing, buzzwords that mask the dismantling of the systems I built, the sidelining of the people I hired and trained. It's like watching someone systematically erase my existence from the place that was once my second home. The ache in my chest is a constant companion. It's not just the loss of my career, the betrayal by my husband. It's the feeling of being erased, made invisible, as if the decade of my life I poured into that company never happened. Mark doesn't contact me directly, only through lawyers.
Divorce papers arrive.
Cold, impersonal documents that dissect our shared life, our shared assets, with clinical detachment. The house, the savings, the company shares. He wants a clean break.
He wants it all to go away.
Me included. There are days I can barely get out of bed. The humiliation is a heavy blanket, suffocating me. I replay the scene in his office over and over.
His cold eyes.
Clara's smug face. The security guards. Each memory is a fresh wound. I feel powerless, adrift. My identity had been so tied to the company, to being Mark's wife, his partner. Without those anchors, I feel like I'm drowning. My father calls. More often now. He doesn't pry, doesn't offer platitudes. He asks practical questions. What am I doing? Am I eating? He listens to my despair, my frustration, my raw anger. One evening, I tell him about the rumors, about feeling erased. I tell him how much I hate seeing her there, in my place, undoing everything. How I hate him for doing this. He listens patiently. When I'm finished, after a long silence, he says, some things. They can't be fixed by talking. What does that mean, Dad? It means sometimes you need to fight fire with fire. Or maybe, not fire at all. Something colder. Something they don't expect. His words are cryptic, but they plant a seed. Something colder. Something unexpected. For weeks, I had been consumed by the heat of my own pain and rage. It was exhausting. But thinking about fighting back, about something colder, something strategic, feels different. It feels empowering. A flicker of life in the ashes. My father is a self-made man. He started with nothing and built a successful, though much different, business empire. He's known for being quiet, shrewd, and utterly ruthless when necessary. He operates behind the scenes, prefers influence to fanfare. He rarely talks about his work, and I've never involved him in mine. Our company, our dream, was ours alone. Until now. A few days later, he calls again.
Come see me, he says.
Not a question. A command. I go to his office downtown. It's opulent, hushed. Different from the vibrant, chaotic energy of the office I knew. His secretary is formal, leads me into his large, corner office. He's standing by the window, looking out at the city. The same city skyline I used to look out at from our office. The irony isn't lost on me. He turns. There's no sympathy in his eyes. Just a clear, assessing gaze. Sit down, he says, gesturing to a chair.
Eat.
He remains standing. You built that company, he says, stating a fact. We did. I correct automatically, then stop. I put everything into it, Dad.
I know, he says.
I've been watching. Watching? What does that mean? Mark made a mistake, he continues. A significant one. Both personally and professionally. He destroyed our life. I say, the bitterness sharp on my tongue. He showed his true character. My father corrects. Important information. You know who you're dealing with now. He walks over to his desk and picks up a file. It's thick. He doesn't open it. You want it back? He asks. The question is simple, direct. Want the company back.
How?
He controls it. He's the CEO. He controls the management. Not necessarily the ownership. Especially when the ownership is fractured. I stare at him, confused. Our company was privately held, but we had investors. Board members. Your mother and I invested early on, he says. Quietly. A significant amount. We believed in you. In the idea. We didn't want to interfere, so we kept it low profile. My parents invested? I had no idea. They always supported us emotionally, but I didn't know they were significant financial stakeholders. Over the years, he continues, his voice flat, strategic, as the company grew and as other early investors looked for exits, we quietly acquired more shares. Through different entities. Shell corporations. Nothing directly traceable to us. My mind is racing. What is he saying? When Mark fired you, he says, his eyes holding mine, steady and unwavering, he made himself vulnerable. He alienated a key founder, someone intrinsically tied to the company's identity and success. He created instability. And he pissed me off. The last part is said with such quiet intensity, it sends a shiver down my spine. My father is not a man easily angered, but when he is, the consequences are usually severe. The board, he says, was initially loyal to Mark. He's the CEO, the face of the company. But boards care about one thing above all else: shareholder value.
Stability.
My representatives have been in contact with the key board members, showing them the numbers, showing them the potential damage from Mark's,
Personnel décision.
showing them the instability his personal life is creating, reminding them of my own track record,
And.
making offers. Offers. To buy their shares, he clarifies, at a significant premium. My jaw drops. You're buying out the board. We have agreements in place for a controlling interest, he states, his voice devoid of triumph, just factual. The final pieces are falling into place now. It's taken time, required discretion, but it's done.
Done?
What is done? The board is convening next week, he says. A special session to address leadership concerns. He walks back to the window, looking out at the city lights beginning to twinkle as dusk settles. You wanted the company back, he says, almost to himself. It's within reach. But it won't be handed to you. This isn't about revenge. It's about control. About ensuring the company you helped build isn't run into the ground by incompetence and poor judgment. He turns back to me. What do you want to do? The question is simple, but the weight of it is immense. What do I want? I want my life back. I want justice. I want Mark and Clara to face consequences. But more than that, I want the company, the dream, to survive.
To thrive.
I want him to pay for what he did. I stammer. I want her out. And I want the company to be what it was meant to be.
Then you need to be there, he says.
At the board meeting.
Me?
Be there? I was fired.
Banished.
It's your company, he says simply. Soon it will be undeniably so in terms of ownership. But you need to reclaim your place. Show them you're not broken. You're not defeated. You're just waiting. A cold, steely resolve settles over me. The heat of rage cools, replaced by a sharp, strategic focus.
My father is right.
This isn't just about getting back at Mark. It's about reclaiming what was taken from me. It's about survival. It's about proving them all wrong. I will be there. The days leading up to the board meeting are the longest of my life. I work with my father's team, understanding the complex web of transactions, the legal maneuvers, the quiet acquisition of power. It's fascinating and terrifying. My father operates in a different league. He doesn't shout, he calculates. He doesn't confront, he encircles. I prepare myself, not just on the facts, the figures, the legal standing, but emotionally. I practice keeping my face impassive. I rehearse what I will say, how I will hold myself. I need to project strength, confidence, not the pain and anger I still feel churning beneath the surface. I decide what to wear. A suit. Not the corporate standard, but something sharp, powerful. A deep navy. Perfectly tailored. No jewelry, save for a simple watch. My hair pulled back severely. I want to look like someone who means business. Someone who is not to be trifled with.
The morning of the meeting arrives.
I drive to the building. It feels different this time. Not like a place of work, but like a battleground. I park in the visitor's lot. No more reserved spot. I walk through the lobby, past the security desk where the guards who escorted me out now sit. They look away. I take the elevator up to the executive floor. The doors open. The hallway is hushed, carpeted, lined with expensive art. I walk towards the boardroom. Mark is there, standing outside the room, talking to Clara. They look confident, relaxed. They haven't seen me yet. I stop a little distance away, just watching them. She's laughing, touching his arm. The familiar gesture that once filled me with vague unease now fills me with cold certainty. They look like they own the place, like they won. I take a deep breath. This is it. The moment of reckoning. I walk towards them. The click of my heels on the polished floor echoes in the quiet hall. Mark and Clara turn. Their faces, seconds ago animated with casual conversation, freeze. Their smiles vanish. Mark's eyes widen in disbelief. Clara's jaw tightens. What are you doing here? Mark demands, his voice low, hostile. I stop a few feet away. I look at him. At her. I let my gaze linger, cold and steady. I'm attending the board meeting, I say, my voice calm measured. You're not a board member, Clara says, her voice sharp. Not yet, I reply, a faint smile touching my lips. It doesn't reach my eyes. But I am a significant shareholder, and the board has granted me observer status for this crucial meeting. Mark steps forward, his face contorted in anger. You can't be here. Get out. Actually, Mark, a new voice interjects. My father's lawyer, Mr. Harrison, emerges from the boardroom door. He's a picture of quiet authority, impeccably dressed, holding a document. She has every right to be here. More than a right, arguably. As of this morning, entities represented by my client, her father, hold a controlling interest in this company. Effective immediately, the board has undergone a restructuring. Mark stares at Mr. Harrison, then back at me, his eyes darting between us. He's completely blindsided. His face pales. What are you talking about? Mr. Harrison holds up the document. A special board meeting was convened early this morning. Votes were cast. Leadership changes have been made. He turns to Mark. Mark, your tenure as CEO is terminated, effective immediately. The words hang in the air. Mark stumbles back as if he's been physically struck. Clara gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. The confident facade they wore moments ago has shattered, revealing panic beneath. Terminated? Mark stutters. You can't do that. I'm the CEO. I founded this company. You are the CEO, Mr. Harrison corrects mildly. And you are a founder. But you no longer hold a controlling stake. Decisions are made by the majority shareholders, represented by the board. And the board has lost confidence in your leadership. He glances pointedly at Clara. Among other things, Clara's eyes narrow, fixing on me with pure venom. You did this, she hisses. I didn't do anything, I say, my voice still calm. I just showed up for a meeting I was invited to. Mr. Harrison turns to Clara. As the new leadership is assessing all roles, he says, his tone polite but firm, your consulting contract has been terminated. Effective immediately. Clara stares at him, then at Mark, then back at me. Her face is a mask of fury and disbelief. She clearly hadn't anticipated this. She thought she was moving into my position permanently, solidifying her power alongside Mark's. Now it's all gone. This is unbelievable, Mark shouts, his voice cracking. He looks cornered, frantic. The control he wielded so easily is gone. The man who fired me without a second thought is now facing the consequences of his own actions, magnified tenfold. He betrayed me, thinking I was powerless. He underestimated my father.
And he underestimated me.
It's quite believable, Mark, I say, stepping forward. You built a company on a foundation of trust. And you destroyed that trust. Not just with me, but with everyone who believed in us in the vision. Your decisions, both personal and professional, created unacceptable risk. My father and the board acted to protect their investment. To protect the company. Clara grabs her designer bag, her face red with rage. She doesn't say a word. She just turns and strides away, her heels clicking angrily down the hall, the sound fading as she disappears around the corner.
She quit, just like that.
Not even a fight. Her power, her position, was entirely dependent on Mark's. With him gone, she had nothing here. Mark stands there, stunned, abandoned. He looks at me, his eyes filled with a mixture of anger, shock, and something that might be fear. The empire he thought he controlled has crumbled around him in minutes. Mr. Harrison steps aside, holding the boardroom door open for me. The board is waiting, he says. I walk past Mark, past the wreckage of his carefully constructed world. I don't say goodbye. I don't need to. My victory isn't in his humiliation, though I won't pretend there isn't a cold satisfaction in seeing his shock. My victory is in walking back through that door, into the heart of the company I helped create. Stepping into the boardroom feels surreal. The faces around the table are a mix of the old guard and new faces, people my father's team brought in. They look at me with curiosity, respect, maybe a hint of apprehension. I take the seat that has been prepared for me. It's not the CEO chair, but it's a seat at the table. A seat of power. The meeting is formal, efficient. Mr. Harrison outlines the changes. A new interim CEO is appointed. Plans for the future are discussed. I listen, absorb, my mind already working, planning. The rage is still there, a low hum, but it's channeled now. Into purpose. The divorce proceeded swiftly after the boardroom shake-up. Mark contested nothing. He seemed broken. The public nature of the company changed. The rumors that followed about his professional conduct, the loss of his position and power stripped him bare. He lost the company, his wife, and the mistress he risked it all for. All in one swift, brutal turn of events orchestrated not by me, but by the quiet force of my father's strategic might. The apartment was sold. The assets divided according to the prenup he once dismissed as unnecessary between us. I bought a smaller place, something that feels like mine alone. Free from the ghosts of a shared past. The company is different now. My father didn't want to run it. He installed competent leadership, people focused on rebuilding trust and stability. I was offered a position, a senior executive role, but not COO. I considered it. The pull of the place I helped build is strong. But I also see it clearly now, separate from the emotional entanglement of my marriage. It's a business. A successful one. Thanks to my foundation and my father's intervention, but just a business. I decided not to return to a full-time role. Instead, I accepted a position as a consultant, advising on strategy and operations. It gives me a voice, allows me to contribute without being trapped in the day-to-day drama or the ghosts of my past. I visit the office sometimes. It still feels familiar, but the energy is different. Cleaner. The toxic presence of Mark and Clara is gone. The people I hired and trained are still there, relieved, grateful. The experience left scars. Deep ones. Trust is a fragile thing, and mine was shattered by the two people I should have been able to rely on the most. I learned that love and partnership in business are a powerful force, but they require absolute integrity. And when that integrity is gone, the foundation crumbles completely. My father never gloated. He never said, "I told you so." He just did what he felt was necessary to protect his investment, and I think, to protect me. Our relationship is stronger now, built on a new understanding of his quiet power and his fierce, unspoken loyalty. I see Mark sometimes. From a distance. He looks smaller somehow, humbled. The arrogance is gone, replaced by a haunted look. Clara is a ghost. I've heard she moved away, her career tarnished by the scandal. I didn't get back the life I had. That life is gone, irrevocably altered. But I got something else. I got my self-respect back. I got vindication. I got a painful, brutal lesson in human nature. And I got the quiet satisfaction of knowing that while they tried to erase me, tried to take everything I built, they failed. The company endures. And I endured. Stronger, colder in some ways, but also clearer. Ready to build something new, something entirely my own this time. No shared dreams, just my own vision. If this story hit close to home, that feeling of losing something you built, of being betrayed by someone you trusted, I'd love to hear your version. Drop a comment with where you're listening from and what time it is. Thanks for being here. Subscribing helps bring more of these to life.